All right, so Boston and Toronto in the Stanley Cup playoffs, obviously 2-3 in the Atlantic. Boston 49-24-9 for 107 points, really good season by them. And Toronto 46-28-8, really good season by them as well, 100 points. The last 10 games, Toronto 3-4-3. Obviously they're on a 3-game losing streak right now. Haven't played horrible in those games, but obviously you'd like to see them go in the playoffs and winning note. Boston's 6-4 with a losing streak of 1 game. Second half, obviously Boston's been the way better team. This year, Boston's won 3, lost 1 against Toronto. They lost 4-2 in Toronto. I went to that game; it's a pretty good game. They also beat Toronto in Boston 6-1, I believe, and 6-3, and then lost and won the next game in Toronto by 1 goal. I'll highlight 3 players that you're going to want to watch. Obviously, the first line for Boston's pretty unreal. Bergeron, Pastrnak, Marchand. Obviously, last year playoffs, they had 30 points against Toronto, I believe, in 7 games. It's pretty outrageous. Pastrnak this year's got, I believe, 6 or 7 goals against Toronto in 4 games. He's lit up Toronto. Toronto has no answer for these guys. Not very many teams in the league would. Obviously, they're one of the best lines in the NHL, if not the best. They've been playing together for quite a few years now. 3 players to Toronto that I think can balance that out: Marner, Tavares, and Matthews. Obviously, you're looking for Matthews to have bounce back playoffs. Although these 3 players have had career years: Tavares in points and goals, Marner's in points, and Matthews in points. You're gonna want to the X factor in this series, obviously the goaltending, but Krejci, DeBrusk, and Coyle for Boston. Krejci had a really good year. He stepped in for Bergeron just fine. I believe he had 72 points or 73 points. DeBrusk, I think he had around 36 goals, and Coyle, even though he hasn't really put up the numbers after the trade, he could definitely be one of the X factors on the third line. And then for Toronto, you're looking for Kadri's line to step up. You're going to want him to get about 4 or 5 points maybe. If he does that, you're looking pretty good because you're expecting the first 2 lines to put up some decent numbers. Nylander is going to be on that line right now, it looks like, with Marleau. Obviously, him and Marleau have played pretty decent together, and Nylander has played better of late. He's got a few goals called back. He did score the last game. So he's picking it up. I know every Leaf fans have been waiting for him to actually look pretty good. He's had a decent year after holding out. Goaltending wise, obviously I give it to kind of a tie. Rask, even though might have the edge just because he's got that a lot more playoff experience than Anderson, but Anderson can definitely play really well. Defense, you're going to give it to Boston with McAvoy, Chara, Krug, and Carlo. Toronto puts the best 4 defensemen together. It looked pretty good with Riley and Gardner, then Muzzin and Durbin. Obviously, they're all left-handed. Then you got Zaitsev and Hainsey as your third pairing. Obviously, you wouldn't want them playing too much. Forwards, pretty good battle here. Obviously, the first line's the best for Boston. So that kind of cancels out Toronto's first line. But the next 9, I would give it to Toronto probably just because of that Matthews factor. I think he can put up a little bit more points than Krejci, although Krejci's had an unbelievable year, and obviously he's playoff tested. So overall, I think Boston wins this in 6 games. Would love to see Toronto win in 6. If it goes to 7, I don't think they'd be winning it, just because obviously history with the last 2 series going to 7, Boston just beating Toronto. But yeah, I think this series goes 6 or 7 games. Obviously, I'm not picking a short series. Let me know what you think. Who do you think is going to step up for either team? Do you think Boston's going to roll over Toronto? Or do you think Toronto's going to roll over Boston? Or do you think it's going to be a close series, 6 or 7 games? Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, and have a nice day.